Good morning, everyone. Today I just want to talk about yesterday's tattoo appointment and a few other developments. Started out last week's episode talking about my 20 millimeter Labret. Had a little bit of trouble with it. I had to go back down to 19 millimeter just for a little while. Just the jewelry was fitting fine and the swelling wasn't too bad. It was just kind of there's a little bit of irritation on the right side, so sitting at 19 millimeter for now. Probably within a few days I'll be back up to 20 millimeters, I would imagine, which is again the goal size. Sometimes when you're stretching piercings, you end up losing the battle and winning the war, kind of thing. So yeah, I was disappointed with that, but it is what it is. I'll move on. I'll survive. Like I said, should only be a few days. So yesterday we were going to be touching up this arm, the elbow, and some of the lighter spots along the stretch. But I decided, just for a change of pace, we've been working in that area quite a while. This time we would touch the head up instead. So what we did is we pretty well fully blacked it out. It used to look like this. So we basically fully blacked it out, and then we opaque gray over the black, and then white over opaque gray in different capacities to create a sort of shading. It's not unlike what you would get with black and gray, but obviously, since it was a red rose before, it is a little pink right now. It may stay a little pink the first time, but the idea is that once the redness from the initial tattooing soreness goes away, that skin should look more white. That's generally what white ink does. It looks pinky when you first put it in. So, and if it's not fully gone, the red, we'll just simply touch it up at a later date. Right now, I like it a lot more than the other one. It is a little goopy right now. Tried to keep a Sanoderm on there, but it was, well, the head bleeds a lot. It can take a good beating during a tattoo, but it does bleed a lot. So just in case you're ever getting a head tattoo, just know that they will bleed and there's a lot of plasma when you're healing. So yeah, the Sanoderm didn't last as long as I would have liked. It only lasted actually for a few hours. Again, lots of bleeding. So I had to take that off, and now it's just light coat Aquaphor twice a day. Don't overcare kind of thing. But it's similar to like healing a throat or like a piece of my chest or something, where since it doesn't move around a lot like your arms, right? Like you're not moving your hands around a lot, or like your feet or something. Anything like just a flat surface that doesn't really move around a lot is pretty easy to heal. So I'm not too worried about it, actually. Now, because we only did the one, I'm kind of two-facey. And if you've been a fan of my earlier videos or seen me on my Instagram, I have mentioned a few times there that I really don't like being lopsided. I hate being off balance, but the way it works is I only get a few hours a week, so my appointments where I go happen before the shop opens, and so that way I always get in. I kind of just whatever day, whether it's a Tuesday or Wednesday. I got a Tuesday appointment coming up soon, but I'm basically not a scheduled appointment. I just kind of have my spot when I want it for the most part. That probably sounds crazy to some people, but I mean, it would make sense to some people who are more heavily tattooed that does end up happening. I've had that at a few shops over the years where I'm very good business and return business, and you end up getting preferred appointments and stuff. And you don't end up having to wait. So that's how I get a lot of my work done, rapid fire. Lots of people are always surprised. How do you get so much done? Like once a week? How do you do it? And it's like, well, the better you know someone, it's like frequent flyer miles or something. But anyway, so yeah, since we did that one, I'll need to do this one this coming week. And then we are talking about adding some leaves into some of the negative spaces back here, and seeing what we can do to kind of bring out the roses a little more. Sorry, tired today. Seeing what we can do to kind of bring out the roses and kind of bring this whole head face area together. Again, it won't be too much, like just like little embellishments. And we didn't want to make a move without being sure, so we didn't do anything like that this last time. I've got my hair done a little funny today. I'm sure it's like, how has he not mentioned that weird hair? Okay, so I used to always do hairstyles like this, like pompadours. Before that, it was mohawks, but as I grew up, it became more of a rockabilly thing. Like for quite a while, my whole kind of look was traditional tattoos and rockabilly aesthetic, and so I got into pompadour styled hair and stuff like that. So I don't really wear my hair like this these days much, but it was a good way to keep the hair out of the tattoo and stuff. And a lot of people have liked the hair, so maybe I'll do it now and then still. I don't know. I always look at it and I think that I'm too old to be playing around with my hair like this. And then again, I guess I'm too old to be dyeing it too, then by that logic. And maybe I'm too old to be getting tattooed all the time too. So I guess it's just like, maybe it's just my sensibilities have changed, not so much that I'm too old for it, right? I think that whatever we say I'm too old for is generally just things we've grown out of as a person, that not necessarily that we're too old for them necessarily, just that we no longer feel at home in that. Because now I look at it and I think it's a little too high and it's a little too pointy and, it's a little too cartoony. But the silver's staying in pretty good. Yeah. So that's basically been what I've been up to. Like I said, even now I've got the itch to try and put 20mm right back in. I mean, I can actually put it in right this second. It's an irritation over time. So like, the right side right now is, it's just like irritated from the jewelry. It's not used to being as wide as it is. And though it has stretched, and like even as I'm saying this, I could just plop it in, it still doesn't like to be that size. So now I have like this weird sort of situation I've had before where my jewelry fits, but my anatomy isn't really quite happy with it. So it's, when you get into bigger sizes, you're not too worried about losing a lot of your size. So like, if you have a 14 gauge piercing and you take it out overnight, well, it might heal over, right? You might not you might have to force a piercing through that, and you might rip it and all that. So I'm not really so much worried about that with my lip. I think that a 20mm lip is a 20mm lip. And so if I wear a 19mm for a couple days, I'm not worried about stretching a millimeter or if it will even shrink at all, because it probably isn't going to shrink anymore. Most times when someone wants to get their Labret, like they want to shrink it, they have to pretty well sew it. I've actually known a few people who've had their Labrets sewed shut, and there is that option. The only thing I've always, wondered about myself is what happens to the muscle. Does it just kind of reconnect? Because it wasn't so much until the last few sizes, but now when I take my lip piercing out, even I have less control over my bottom lip. It's a little less, what's the word I want to use here? It doesn't work quite the way it used to, I guess. I've joked about how if people get their Labrets scalpeled sometimes, I don't know how they can do it, because as I've gone up in sizes, I've kind of gradually been relearning how to talk a little bit, because I have less muscle in my lower lip. So forming words has changed a little bit. Chewing has changed a little bit. All of these things have changed a little bit. So like drinking, everything. But it's been a gradual kind of, I've been coming along with it. Now, I've always wondered what it's like to get your Labret scalpeled, and then all of a sudden you have to relearn. It must be quite debilitating for a while. And I would think that that would be like a different world kind of situation. Anyway, I rambled long enough. Maybe let me know what you think of my new rose. I'd say it's like a completely different rose than this one. Hell of a lot more detailed, and fits my sensibility a lot better. And as I said, even if that pinky red isn't gone completely, most of that, once the redness from the tattooing goes away, will be more of a gray color. So I'll be looking forward to showing that off once as it heals. And it's kind of an interesting project for both me and my artist to see how well this heals, because it's not like your typical tattoo, right? Like we basically we're testing the white over black stuff, and if this works well, even on the first pass, that means big things for the future, because I'm definitely going to do at least a little bit of white over some of my black eventually. Once I get tired of being full black, I'm sure I will one day. I'll have potential to then go over that with white lines or white shapes or whatever else. Even color. We've seen some people doing some crazy things with color over black now too. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think of the new rose. Yeah, if you like these videos, be sure to share them with your friends, and follow me on Instagram as well at Ephemeral Remy, and have a good day.